is upon us right here at Luton Urban Radio. So on Sunday, myself, Lenny T, with a very special guest this evening. Once again, if you want to join us, you can, of course. 07908 974 543. I've got to say, let me just warn you right now. I want to say we are live right here, of course, on Luton Urban Radio, streaming live. And then my little girl is going to go, Dad, stop fidgeting, stop fidgeting. She's not a little girl, big woman right now. Stop fidgeting. The only reason is I get to be like this when I have special people or special guests in the show.
Luton Urban Radio, The Pulse.
Without further ado, let me see if I can bring it forth to the programmer. Let me welcome my very, very special guest tonight on Soul on Sunday, Natrel Mystic.
Hi everybody.
Welcome,
How
my
you
dear.
doing?
Welcome to the program. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm blessed, highly blessed.
Hey, you know what? That's so good to hear. That's so good to hear. So much things happening in the world today. So much things happening, and sometimes I often ask the question: do we ever stop and give thanks and say, you know what? I'm blessed. I'm grateful for the. You know, she's grateful for being alive, and I like that. And I like that. To those who may probably wondering. This Natrel Mystic, tell us about yourself. What, you know, everything you can that embodies you today, and obviously I am looking forward of doing a little session with you. I know it's impromptu, and I like your style. You're just jumping in there.
Thank you so much. A little bit about me. Well, I'm originally from Northwest London, North Easy for life. So I have to throw that in there for the people in the ends. I lived in Luton back in 96, so that's my sort of first time association. I moved out of London, moved up to Luton, and ever since it's been like a second home to me. So that's what brings me back here. First of all, it's like, it feels like, yeah, welcome home. It's a pleasure to be on Luton Urban Radio.
Yes,
especially for my love of radio, my love of music. And a little bit about me. Well, I was introduced to the great Lenny T because I became an author or a co-author recently. And I was connected with you to speak on another show, and you also spoke to our lead author, Dee Bailey. So indeed. That's our connection.
Indeed, and I've got to tell you, this lady is incredible indeed. Everything I've gone through, media, music as such, she's always there. She's like my left right-hand person, guides me along. And I've got to tell you a very story. I'll share a story with this young lady in a little while. But as always, you know, sometimes when you have a little germ, if you've got something coming, you like to protect it, keep it to yourself. She's forever sharing. Lenny, I've got somebody else you can talk to, ever listening in their own way. And I think that's wonderful, especially in today's society, that I often ask the question, is there enough cohesion within our community? Is there enough sharing? You could be working for a different channel, you could be doing some things, but are we working as a community to come together? And I've got to say, props, Dee Bailey, we salute you, and I thank you so much for the remarkable things. Now, you were talking about being an author, this thing. How did this come about?
Since lockdown, Dee had always had her Simply Dee's events and her Real Talk radio show. And we connected via International Women's Day last year, and we've done a few events together. She helped me with my very first event last year, and the connections remained ever since. And for the last 22 weeks on a Thursday, we've been meeting up on a Zoom.
Wonderful stuff. And this Zoom thing is taking over, right?
It really is. I don't want to plug just Zoom. There are other ways that we can do this. But
I like that.
It seems to be the most common way and the simplest way that we have been able to communicate over the last few weeks.
Luton Urban Radio, The Pulse.
You know, this is what I like about you. This is why when I talk to you with that interview, I said, I've got to get there on the show somehow. And if she's working elsewhere, I need her to come and work here with us. Because you see, you've just said the point that, hey, there's other ways, Lenny. Not just one channel, there's other ways. And that's great. That's great. And this is all about the social media right now, getting our messages across, working and being open to other sort of channels.
Correct. And I'd say that's, for me, couple of years back, I opened myself up onto social media, and it's just been a positive journey for me ever since. The people I've connected with, the ways in which I've been able to use it and not allow it to use me. And I think that's my biggest lesson and what I try to put out there. It's a device.
Yeah,
remember that, and there are people behind the device. So we got to know the people behind the device, behind the cameras on these Zoom calls. And about 6 or 7 weeks into this, social distancing / isolation lockdown, we just wanted to do something to commemorate these moments.
Indeed.
And in the back of our minds, I think we were hoping that we never experience this again. However, we do have to capture it because it's very poignant, it's very important.
Right.
And it meant so much to us to actually be together at the highs, the lows, and we didn't feel so isolated.
That's the main thing, because many have become isolated, especially in these times, and some have taken it upon ourselves. I mean, we're standing here together, literally. I know we've got our face masks around, but in respect to each other, we know it's a danger line, borderline, of taking these opportunities. But I often say, how long can we continue shying away? Because we've got to eventually have to meet up and get on with protection, of course, all respect. How do you feel about this pandemic thing that's happening right now, if you can, briefly?
For me, personally, prior to the pandemic, I lived in a world of what I'd call isolation anyway. I live alone. I don't have children. I don't have a partner. So my world was coming and going to and from work. I drive a van, so I'm on my own in my van delivering.
Independent woman.
Yeah.
Is that right term I could use? Or
I'm becoming more self-sufficient.
You see.
We're all independent, is what I say. We're all independently doing stuff. We're all independently thinking, feeling, breathing. But I would like to become more self-sufficient in regards to how I get my income and in regards to the legacy.
Sure.
It's not, for me, it's not just about a pension, it's about a legacy.
Absolutely. Well, we've got about 40 seconds to go to the ad break, and after the ad break, we're going to play some music, and we're going to find out more information, and we're going to share one or two things together. We have got a script line, but it's put aside, because this is meant to be a bank holiday weekend, a carnival weekend.
Indeed. I didn't bring my flag.
Yay, and of course it ain't happening, so hopefully we bring some carnival in your house, in your homes, wherever you are. You're open, of course, to share with us. Telephone number 07908974543. That's our text. Send us a message, how you feel. Want to say hi to the great lady. Just want to say to those messages, I believe we've got Oberyn, Strachan, Stephen, Jean, and Wayne, the big fella himself. Thank you very much for giving you a big wave, joining us right here on our Facebook, Luton Urban Radio. By the way, I want to say a big shout to the management. You're doing tremendous things as you're working with the community. We'll be back after these short words.
Luton Urban Radio. Find us online, on air, and on the go at lurlive.co.uk.
Are you or someone you know in need of a style revamp or makeover? Whatever your reason, look no further. Style Me Image Consultancy and Boutique are here to assist. We offer a range of services for women and men, such as personal shopping, wardrobe audits, and much, much more. We also have a supply of unique one-off high street designer and vintage pieces. For a consultancy appointment or further information, contact Asia on 07956 597 501 or 07956 131015. Email address is asiasb@hotmail.com or check out Style Me Image Consultancy and Boutique Facebook business page. We are situated in Renaissance Studios, postcode N90AB. Style Me Image Consultancy and Boutique, creating the uniqueness that is you. Style Me Image Consultancy and Boutique partly sponsors the Real Deal Breakfast Show.
Tonight I'm gonna hear you say ooh, ah, when I hit your G-spot, baby, gonna hear you moan and groan tonight. Luton Urban Radio. Hit the G-spot every time.
It's Latoya here, telling you to tune into Real Focus for your weekly dose of the latest film and TV reviews and entertainment news. Playing the latest Afrobeats.
Oh sister, I know be your rider. Give me one chance, make I be your fighter.
R&B.
Someone knew last night and we kicked in, and I'm going back there tonight.
and UK music.
How could I give it all if you take from me? And we ain't got a torch, just wait on me. I just need the time and patience.
Getting you ready for your Saturday night from 4 to 6 p.m. only on Luton Urban Radio.
New and exciting.
Join us this coming Monday on LUR Live for drive time between 6 and 8 o'clock.
Listen up.
Bringing you the best gospel songs from across the world. We bless your week ahead with the very best urban gospel from across the world. Join us this coming Monday, 6 through to 8 p.m. on World of Gospel, live on LUR.
Going live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
LUR sounds like
What you won't do for love.
this
When I'm looking at you, I keep thinking.
and this.
Ooh, I get so high when I'm around you, baby.
Your number one community station, playing the best mix of soul and R&B. The pulse of your community. LUR Live.
Coming from the country with my bag of Cali, I woke up and I while people me. Don't you run now, youth man, you won't get away. If you slip, you will die, and if you run, you can't hide. For I've got my dick stuck right in my hip now. Oh, easy. Don't you take my eyeshadow. Oh, easy. Don't you touch my collie. Oh, easy. The children dying for hunger, and I'm gonna suffer. So you've got to see, it's the scully that feed me. 50 cents a stick and $1 a quarter. That's what keep me alive. Me and my 2 kids and wife. So give me a chance, and make me go on like a faster. Just let me pass through, and Jah will bless you.
It's the Carnival Weekend right here, Luton Urban Radio. Lenny T here. Special guest, Natural Mystic. Hold tight.
No, for the time so rough. I got the great sense in me, yeah, and the good lamb spread, yeah. A little dry and stone, and a little good egg, yeah. You dread them waiting in the city. We go lick it to the gritty. So please, Mr. DC, won't you have some pity? Oh, DC, don't you touch my eyeshadow. Oh, DC, don't you take my collie. Oh, DC, don't you touch my eyeshadow. Oh, DC, don't you touch my collie. No, 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 Mr. DC, give me a chance, to give me a chance, set me free.
I'll tell you what, so far so good. 07908974543 text. Just about to speak to my very special guest right in Nice and Easy, Natural Mystic. You know, I've got to tell you something about you. You said earlier on, just before the hour, that you are finding your way. You know, you're just, embracing what it is. You're working hard. You're a single woman. And when you look at this particular concept in life, does it bother you? That one has to have a family, or one is independently strong on their own, or you just one of them, you just want to be on your own because you're not ready for that sort of entanglement, should I say? Yeah, I'll put you this for. I know. I'll put you this for there.
I've had enough entanglement for a while.
Sure.
And I think that untangling oneself is key.
Like that.
Necessary. Yeah, it's very necessary at a certain stage in life. So.
I think in life, that's brilliant. I'm glad you expressed that, and I'm sorry, my dear, for putting you into that. But I'm glad, because here, these are things that we need to talk about. These are things such as there's certain taboo things like relationships. Why these, I grew up in a Seventh-day Adventist church. And there's a young man in the Wood Green. I was so surrounded, not only just my sisters and my mom, but beautiful women. And I actually asked, why are there so many wonderful women in the church? Some was by choice. Others wanted to, as you say, being through it, they just want to look at life and see. And the answer was predominantly, there's no decent men around. There's no decent people. I've been in there, I don't want it, but I'm cool. But when you use this or come across today, the empowerment, if you hear that particular word, what does it mean to you, especially in today's, and a woman of colour, today society?
Empowerment isn't just about myself. That's the first thing about empowerment. It's about me enabling others to see their potential so they also feel empowered. Because no person is an island. So there's no point me feeling empowered alone.
Right.
So how did I get there is probably, or how do you embrace this feeling, is what my journey is definitely about.
Respect that. You know what? It's all about open. We have a show here on a Monday we called What's the Issue? And it's a show that likes to tackle anything that's happening. Because I'm looking today that life, I use this expression that when I grew up, my parents of the African community, we came from what was Rhodesia, now Zimbabwe. My parents came, mom and dad, my brother, sister, 5 in a family, beautiful family, a proper whole household. The first time was getting involved in a community, which was the Caribbean community in North London. And I remember my parents embracing that, me growing up, friends at school and so on. And I felt part of this community. Cohesion was there. I remember I called my aunties come to my mom, and they said to my mom, I would do this fish, chicken, cook, and all the kind of thing. My mom would show them how we did our sort of thing. But gradually you were part of this, and it was a togetherness. As years has gone by, I find that other communities tend to have this together. And for some reason, we are somehow, we're there, we're working, but we're not empowered in being close, especially you look at the Windrush generation that came in early. Those that set the standards. And I find that, is it right or am I wrong that we don't really have that community thing anymore? It's there, but is it working together strongly to embrace the children for the future? What do you think?
I think there's been a disengagement from my generation growing up in the 80s and 90s. Where it was a kind of unfortunately, a bit of a them and us in regards to the Caribbean and then sort of African. Yeah. And as I've got older, I've realised that within certain African communities, there is a level of cohesion and togetherness. Within certain cultures within the Caribbean community, there is a level of cohesion and togetherness. And I think it's only now are we learning like where we're actually from and where we're going, and in order to be the powerful force that we know we are, is power in numbers. So the few islands that there are ain't enough, but the continent of Africa is where the power comes in.
I'm glad you did that, because I remember 78, 76, 77, the hot summer we had in North London was the best place to live in. That's all I'm saying. I don't know about North, South, East, West London, nothing. North London was the best place to live in.
Well, I was born in 76. So
okay. You see, you're making me feel bad right now. You shouldn't have said that. In fact, you know what, let me just play a little jingle right now, because
Luton Urban Radio, The Pulse,
You know, when Roots came out, which is a movie that changed the whole sort of diaspora, sort of scattering and people, I looked at it and I thought, wow, so we have all come from one continent. My colleagues, them, because we was fighting between each other. You used to hear this expression, they're from small little island, this and that. You know what I mean? I think we're all black. We're all one together. And there was that sort of earliest days where Africans, West Indians, we didn't click together because we were taught this negative historical purpose. Mm-hmm. But I was happy to see many people embrace. And through the power of reading, through the power of families coming together and saying, you know what, this is what your historical context is about. Many people began to embrace and understood that. But the question is this, why is it in the black community? I say black because when we was at school, you had the white community, Asian community. I say Asian. It wasn't Pakistan, it wasn't Indian, it wasn't whatever, Bangladesh. It was called the Asian community. These people work together. These people learn to embrace and support each other. But we as a people, sometimes we kind of like, we don't want to encourage and work together and support one another. Is it something that was embedded in us? And I often say to Mama, when I go to heaven, I want to ask the men up there and say, why didn't you give us this power to work together as a people?
He did give us the power to work together. Mm-hmm. I think it's because we have lost our culture and our true tradition, which is why there is a disconnect at the moment. Mm. And just thinking about how many people have returned to Africa from America, from the UK,
I see that.
From the Caribbean, that passage back home is now actually doable.
Right.
It's seeable.
Right.
People are over there and they are trying. And I think the difference now is that we want trade routes. Mm-hmm. We want to be able to do business independently. And like I said, it's about legacy. We need to create generational wealth. Mm-hmm. And that's what we've lost. So in order, we can create wealth within ourselves as individuals, but that doesn't mean anything, really and truly. So I think it's generational collective wealth is what it is that we need. Where it is we're moving towards is the way I feel at the moment, albeit there's a level of maybe mistrust in regards to how we conduct and do business. And I think we need to have a code of business within our community.
Within our community, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that needs to be established across the waters as well, where we just adhere to certain policies and procedures that we set up for ourselves. So it means that we are now entrusting of more than just a handshake, because that handshake agreement is where a lot of business deals are done, but where a lot of business deals can fail.
Let me ask you a question. I'm listening to you right now and I've got music lined up. I've got text message. I want to thank those, of course, Sonia Johnson. Thank you for switching on. Mohammed, good evening to you, sir. You speak with eloquence. You speak with clarity. You know, these are things sometimes I find that when people are behind in social network or social media, we need people of that magnitude. Yourself, how did you come to sort of learn to bring this togetherness? You read a lot of books? I mean, you're talking 76.
I'm a bookworm. I think. Well, in all honesty, it's my family. It's my mum and dad. It's my foundation. My dad had his own business. My mum started to use computers very early on as a data entry clerk.
Right.
And it was their ethic. It was their work ethic. Towards wanting to do better for themselves, but also for their family. And they instilled that in me. So I've got my mum's creativity and I've got my dad's very mathematical, logical mind.
So that setting up this particular idea, it's all begins, the foundation begins from home, isn't it?
Definitely.
Watching and learning.
Yeah.
In the event where maybe there isn't a father or perhaps there isn't a mother, unfortunately with social, what would be your message to those who perhaps haven't had that sort of upbringing?
Absolutely, mentoring. I'm a mentor. I mentor children. I mentor girls. I'm an advocate for mentoring, regardless of how old you feel you are. We could all use an elder, somebody else who's walked those shoes, who's seen that already. And in certain parts of Africa, and I believe I think China and Asia, they've actually got the elderly sitting on street corners.
Do you know, I'm glad you brought that, because you say you read, which is good. Hey, listen, let me just say, if you just logged in, it's Sol on Sunday, today's special weekend, bank holiday weekend, lots of things to talk about. But of course, the program is changed with my very learned colleague right here, of course, say National Mystic in the house. You know, talking about that, I always recall as a young person, people visiting my mom's house. Oh, this is Uncle so-and-so, and I'm fine, all right. They've gone to do my own uncle, they're not my dad's friend. What relation? Because what we did as a community, or tried, is any elderly person that became either your uncle, became your auntie, because their values they had, they brought them in. Yeah. And of course, this was always my answer to those who say, well, I haven't got a dad, I ain't got a mom, blah, blah. But you can embrace with your brother, your sister, or anybody, a colleague, could be. Because in our continent, in our country, be like, you have to respect the elders. And what they brought in, especially in their home, it became a respect. And it automatically, I've got loads of aunties, loads of uncles, peer pressure, people have grown up and you learn to respect because they're telling you thus. That's how they grew up. And that's what we want to bring out in our community today. So we've got lots to talk about. We're going to talk about the Notting Hill Carnival this weekend, the historical purpose. It should have been jamming, of course, this weekend. We want to talk about the Martin Luther King, the Dream speech that took place Friday, would have been 1963, when he gave out I Have a Dream speech. And we're going to talk about our lost brother, of course, Black Panther, Chadwick Boseman, sadly passed away at age of 43. Young man.
Younger than me, so yeah.
43. Yeah. And to know that he's done all these remarkable movies and yet 4 years suffering in that. And you and I have got things we know, personal lives we're going to talk about. You know, when we were, how would you deal with that? Because when we saw him doing certain films, I thought this guy is it. He's now the next Denzel. Because Denzel, obviously, historical purpose, taught him, put him to that platform, and so on. So he was going to be carrying the torch. Yeah. Now, here's a question out there. Do we have any role models out there in our homes, in our workplace, wherever you are? You had your mom and dad. Did you look up to anybody else apart from that?
I suppose a couple of teachers at school. And fortunately, I did have a circle around me that my mum and dad encouraged through their friends. So I would say that I had guides and mentors, men and women, who were older than me. Definitely. So I wouldn't want to name names. I never wasn't a person to look towards a celebrity. So Marcus Garvey is probably my biggest and only real influence. You know, you've touched that. I know. You see, what I like about you is as a learned friend, because these are historical people that we know about them, but not enough. You think about this man back in the days. I read his books. I read the power he had, the business acumen he had. He was an orator. Yeah. And it's a shame we never had much translation, or maybe you can listen to him. You've got one or two videos and such. But this man engulfed the business, the black star lines, you know what I mean, the ship. Yeah. He had such a business acumen. Yeah. For me, that's what sparked my... I don't call it entrepreneurship, I call it rustapreneurship. So I'm a rustapreneur. Right. That's a new word for me today. Yeah, I'm going to put it on a T-shirt. Yes, new word to me. New word. Tell me about that. Why that particular wording? Again, you know, you don't have to be dread to be Rasta is the first thing that I would say. I think it's a way of life, it's a liberty. What I was brought up was peace and love. Each one, reach one, teach one. And if what I'm sharing is love, and I'm doing it with love, from love, then goodness and mercy shall follow. I'm going to ask you later on. Of course, we're talking about each one in love and everything, embracing that. When we see all these issues happening globally, in America, here in the 70s, South Slow, factors that, we're going to talk about it. But of course, the main event, we'll talk about what should have been happening really this weekend, the Notting Hill Carnival and the tensions and things. But in the meantime,
Luton Urban Radio, The Pulse.
Babylon, put on the pressure. Oh yes, all time pressure. Babylon, put on the pressure. Oh yes, all time pressure. On this land, on this land, some Some can't take it, but they can't leave it. Some are forced to stay under it. Oh yes, you got to keep on slaving in a Babylon. You got to keep on slaving. Oh yes, in a Babylon. Rasta man, don't you give it up. Just keep on praising God and lick your yum. Oh yes, you got to keep on stepping out of Babylon. One more time, step it. Keep on stepping out of Babylon.
Luton Urban Radio, super Sunday right here. Lenny T with my special guest, Natural Mystic, of course. 07908974543. Giving you all a wave on our Facebook, Luton Urban Radio.
Everybody got to keep on working on. Everybody got to keep on slaving right now. Keep on slaving in a Babylon. All time pressure, you just keep on slaving in a Babylon. Watch this. All time pressure in a Babylon. All time pressure in a Babylon. All time pressure in a Babylon. All time pressure in a Babylon.
This one goes out to NDT and Producer B. Come on. Taking you way back, of course, sir.
Babylon, I put on the pressure.
Luton Urban Radio, The Pulse.
All time pressure.
Stand the pressure in Babylon. Say that a Babylon I put on the pressure man. And me say Babylon I put on the pressure man. But say that if there's a will, say there must be a way. Get down on what we live the goddamn day. Say you prayer to the devil, so me say can't stand the pressure in a Babylon. Cause me say Babylon I put on the pressure man. Me say the pressure man. Me say the pressure man. Me say the pressure man.
You remember going up to the dance and listening to this, didn't you?
I was on my dad's shoulders. I was like,
besides a madman in our garbage stand, so that a sufferation in a Babylon.
Oh yes, in a Babylon.
Sufferation in a Babylon.
Luton Urban Radio, LURlive.co.uk.
Food make the food go round, and that will help to trample crime to the ground. Say me can't stand the pressure in a Babylon. Say that me can't stand the pressure.
Definitely should have been kicking off this weekend, Carnival weekend, I tell ya. Kicking off Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Bank Holiday, Monday. I tell ya. You know how it is. It's so difficult. It's not possible.
it should be.
Tell me, if you'd been at the carnival, where would you have been right now, West Grove? Where would you have been there? You know, what would you been doing right now?
Okay, so Sunday is usually Children's Day. That's when I take the nieces and nephews and meet up with the fam, and usually go if depend on the weather.
Yes.
We'd find somewhere to sit for a little while, fill our belly, clean our face, and then have to dance off the extra calories. Usually behind a float, something pretty that we can look at. We like to see the costumes and
of course
just the vibe of everybody interacting.
And it was wonderful because it was a family sort of day. You know what I mean? I remember that.
Yeah.
Saturday you'd go and watch the costumes and watch the parade, how they're going to be going along.
That's right.
And you felt, hey, this is it. You can't wait. Saturday. Then you got your Sunday, your family.
Don't forget Panorama on Saturday night.
You know it.
Panorama.
Oh, you can't. That was essential. That had to be done.
Carnival for me started was the steel pans.
We'll talk about the history shortly in a while.
Yeah.
But of course, and then you came back to the Monday.
That's right.
Which actually said Big People Day.
Big People Day.
And if you're brave enough, you can take your family. But your son went down in the crowd, mate.
Yeah,
you know.
I used to roll with the man them. You know,
really?
Yeah.
What?
I was one of them girls. Yeah. Safer in numbers, but roll out with the G.
Yes.
Luton Urban Radio, The Pulse.
The great man himself, late great man, of course. I've got to tell you, I've got to say hard time pressure, of course. What can I say? Sugar Minor. Now, let me just say, very good evening goes out to Vinette Hoffman. How are you, my dear? Love your show, sweetheart. Very, very great show. That lady should be on television, actually, because she sits there with this aura, you know? Love the show. Love your special guest. Adrian, a good evening to you as well. Great stuff. Good to know you're logged in. Hey, text message 07908974543. It's all about what would have been. But there's more. You're telling me more about this carnival thing because born out of racial tension. Mm-hmm. Yeah? You know the history about it?
I do.
Share with us, my dear. Yeah, carnival to people that just think, yeah, come on, party time and all that kind of thing. But way before then, how did it come about?
Well, as we know, there was a lot of racial tension in this country. It's very much so in the city of London. And after a lot of death, murder and in-house fighting amongst several different communities, regardless of colour, I would say at this point, there was just, very similar to where we are now in regards to a recession and the tensions of the financial constraints and, the sort of political issues that were also being presented. I just remember blackouts.
Oh.
That's what I remember from those days, to be quite honest, and hope we never go back there. But that's kind of what needed to be eased. We needed to find a way to get beyond the fighting. And what we realise, I think, as a community is that music actually brings people together.
It certainly does.
Yeah.
It certainly does. And of course, as you said, that was the main vocal thing. But I do like we continue reading about the idea that, I came across this not long ago, that the woman or somebody who felt empowered to bring this. I say woman, I can see you smiling gleefully there, my dear. And you know what? We've got a minute to go, but we'll give praise to her just after the 9 o'clock break. Claudia Jones.
Indeed.
Incredible lady.
Yeah.
Who was a very learned woman, of course, traveled and lived in America, did so much things, but she was here. And I loved when reading the article that she was part of the West Indian Gazette. She's one who actually brought forward this particular magazine. And during this tension was happening, a lot of elderly, learned people came to her because she had such a voice and said, look, we need to put something here.
Yeah.
And of course, that was one of the early days of how it began. Now, what does Carnival mean to you? Share with us, let us know. What are you doing today? Because you're telling me it's online today as well.
It is.
Yeah?
It is today and tomorrow.
And tomorrow. Yeah. So we're going to give you more information. How you can find out a bit more right there. 07908974543. Got about, take a little short break. Let me just continue with a message. A very good evening goes out to Wayne. Very good evening to you. And of course, greetings to the Lady Empress as well. I hope you are back and safe, my love. And as I say, don't forget them little food there. A bit of saltfish in the bag. Yeah, I hope you got it through the plate.
Share the link.
There you go.
Living differently and unable to congregate. This show is for you, the listeners. Please email us on info@lurlive.co.uk or all our social media platforms, or contact any of the DJs, presenters with any music you'd like to be played or message you'd like to get read out. Our social media platform is Twitter @LURLive, Facebook Luton Urban Radio, and of course website www.lurlive.com. For the TuneIn app, search Luton Urban Radio. Dedication Hour, Luton Urban Radio, each and every Tuesday night from the hours of 8 to 9 p.m.
Luton Urban Radio is a not-for-profit community radio station, and in these trying times we are here for you. So send a message or dedication to anyone who has been affected by COVID-19. Email us at info@lurlive.co.uk. Luton Urban Radio, the pulse of your community.
in a nurturing way? A nursery that will get your child ready for reception and allow them to grow independently? Well, here we are at Bright Eyes Nursery. We offer premium quality childcare at a cost-effective price. A caring, loving and secure environment whilst teaching traditional values. Free funded spaces for 2, 3 and 4-year-olds. We offer early morning breakfast clubs and lunch freshly cooked and provided by Luton Borough Council. We will ensure your child's early years are the happy years. So why not come and visit us at 48 Mount Pleasant Road, Luton, just off Hewlett Road, Marsh Road. Our opening hours are Monday to Friday, 7:30am to 6:30pm, 47 weeks of the year. You can call us on 01582 249969 or visit our website at www.brighteyesnursery.uk.
Won't you come and bring me love and don't stop, because I just want you to give it to me.
Hey, this is Nikisha Lindo. Make sure you keep it locked to Luton Urban Radio.
World Cargo International, the experts in shipping to the Caribbean, with weekly sailings to Kingston, Jamaica, and fortnightly sailings to Trinidad, Barbados, Dominica, St. Lucia, and more. We can ship almost anything from personal effects to excess baggage to cars and vans and planned machinery. We can even supply containers and barrels direct to your home address, and collection is simple too. We simply come to you. World Cargo International, taking the hassle out of shipping. Pop in and see us at 55A Princess Street, Luton, LU1 580. Call us on 01582 733 711 or see us online at worldcargoint.com.
How do we control coronavirus now? This is Scott. He's a nurse.
NHS Test and Trace helps stop the spread of the virus in our communities. If you've got symptoms, even mild ones, get a test immediately. Don't leave home for any other reason. If you test positive, we can trace the people you've been in contact with and contain the virus. So get tested and protect each other.
To get a test, go to nhs.uk/coronavirus or call 119. Stay alert. Control the virus. Save lives.
LUR. Sounds like this.
Don't mess with my man. Don't mess with my boy.
And this.
Said I'm so sick of love songs, so sad and slow.
Your number one community station, playing the best mix of soul and R&B.
Why can't I turn off the radio?
Luton Urban Radio.
Welcome back. Lenny T Radio, of course, Sunday evening with my very special guest. I've got to say, Natrel Mister, we talk about Notting Hill Carnival. I mean, to you, there's something happening regardless of it not being live. Mm-hmm. Tell us a bit more about that.
Well, online, funny enough, I've just shared the link on the Facebook stream. And it's a friend of mine, his name's Shabba. Mm-hmm. And he designed...
Well, Shabba ranks?
Yeah, I wish.
No, okay. Yeah.
But still, yeah. So I've just shared the link, and basically you can register for free, and you can watch varying sound systems and varying DJs, and they've got dancers, and just going at it, I believe, for like 8, 9, 10 hours over the next couple of days.
It is a thing, though. I don't mind watching it, but is that going to put you in the mood, though? How's that going to work?
I must admit, once I've got my stereo on in my house, I just apologise to my neighbours.
There you go. Yeah. That's it. Just give in advance. In advance. I
might even treat them to some of the rum punch.
Hey, you know what? I could do some right now. I'd say I could do some right now.
Do you know I've got something nice at home?
Oh yeah. You see, you should have done so, my love. Listen, we're going to turn this thing down here.
No.
So get back to the carnival side itself. A lot of people are wondering, of course. How significant in all the years it's been going through, in your eyes, do you think the carnival has been?
For me, it commemorates a lot of different feelings and memories and emotions. Being younger, back in the day, my mum told me my first experience of carnival was her standing up on All Saints.
Really?
Yeah. She was probably 8.5 months gone, ready to drop, and there was a very big push in the crowd. And she was standing in front of a pane of glass window outside the front of a shop, and the pressure from the crowd was so severe that it popped the window and she was pushed back through. And the shards of glass obviously could have been quite damaging to her and me.
And she was okay. She was okay.
Absolutely fine. But that was her experience. She stopped going.
She stopped going.
Yeah,
but she wanted to be part of that. She wanted to go and see.
I think she lived vicariously through me, because I would go with my brothers and sisters and my dad, and it was just that vibe. It's the music. It's the energy. And again, you heard me say All Saints. So I'm one of the dub heads. You know, the Rastaman Skank, Nyabingi.
Old school.
And that was me. So it wasn't until later on in life did I start doing maybe the soul, the jazz, the salsa, the merengue, and discovering all the different types of music that we have a real influence in.
That's amazing what you just said there, because, you know, for me, first early days, it was a soul boy, you know what I mean? Love all that, and still love it right now. But of course, you then come to a certain stage and you begin to embrace and understand reggae music. You begin to appreciate that. And you say, nah, Bingy, you begin to understand these old boys. Used to have a fellow in our street, man. He was always crisp, clean, walking about in the days, red, gold and green belt, moccasins days, Farah trousers, every single colour, Gabichi top. And I used to look at him and think, this is it. But you know, we said earlier on, the trouble with us not being unity. Our parents, even my mum, he just talked to other family members and other parents from the SNC. They never embraced the Rastafarism in the Rastas in them days. It was like, they don't clean, they don't wash their hair, they're dirty people. You know what I mean?
Whereas we were into ITAC.
Yeah,
everything was clean.
Cleaner than clean. So we never knew. And now you look at society today. I'm not being ignorant right here. I'm talking about, look at the Asian community. They've embraced themselves to the fact that they can literally come and get a job, work in an environment, but they still have to adhere to their culture, and you can't say nothing. You have to say, you know what, it's got to be done.
That's right.
I've got to pay 5 times, Lenny. Sorry. You got an issue with that?
Yeah.
They've rose to that esteem of saying this is what about. Women are wearing this outfit, whatever they call, because they've got the whole values on their culture. I'm using that significantly because we stood there, you know, decimating the Rasta community, not understanding how how these people was.
Yeah.
And what they ate, the food they eat, and how they look so healthy, and factors that. And it wasn't because they never washed their hair. We never understood that understanding.
Yeah. I mean, for me, admittedly, I've been through every hairstyle in it as a girl. From perm to curly to straight to plaits.
Wet look as well?
Wave Nouveau.
For really?
Oh, yes.
Okay. So my brother was into that. I never could understand.
You know, the follow the drip.
The pillowcase was a big shame.
Yeah, and skin.
Yeah.
You know, as a teenager, the grease, the oils, the chemicals, you know, that sort of thing. So that was where I have now looked back and learned. I was like, wow, that was really not for us.
Yes,
it was not the way that we were supposed to be living. So my mum and dad allowed me to experiment and go rock off to here.
Yeah, you done.
And when it done mash up, you're going to learn to grow locks.
Proper. That's it. And you ain't going to cut them.
That's right.
You know?
And that's kind of what happened, you know, 14 years ago, dash with a comb.
Really?
Yeah, man. Yeah, man, dash away, big time.
Wow.
And I haven't looked back since, because my thing was that my mum and the sisterins that I had around me, they had hair that dragged on the ground. And they used to sweep behind them. And I'm thinking, so how is it your hair's grown like that in 10 years? And yet, you know, I see my friends, my female friends, with all of these different treatments and things that they're doing, and they complain because their hair doesn't go beyond shoulder length. And I'm like, stop touching it.
Here's a question. When you watch it as you're growing up now, especially today's society, would you say we're now, I say we, I'm talking collectively, we're now beginning to embrace our cultural heritage, how things should have been? And if we had embraced it back then, would have been strong up there now. But we've been up there by now.
Enough of us have got ill from the stuff that we've been doing and what we've been eating and what we've been consuming visually and inhaling in regards to what we eat. And I think we've seen enough ill health and death, where we've actually realised that maybe we're not doing something quite right anymore. So we have to look at ourselves spiritually, we have to look at ourselves emotionally, and on a nutritional level as well. What are we actually doing to our bodies?
Luton Urban Radio, The Pulse.
I like the way you say that. You speak with authority here. Is there something you want to talk to me and share with me? Because these are concepts that I think some of us tried. I recall my parents becoming vegetarians, and they were eating this smooth food, which was like from Loma Linda University in America or whatever. And I said, how can that be chicken, Mum? That's rubber. I eat that chicken. And they would eat that meat. I said, how can that be meat? Soya thing. It didn't taste like meat. It didn't taste it. But, you know, but they did that until my mum discovered, she was a nurse, she discovered that, she went to doctors and they had pain and they discovered that she was lacking some kind of something meat, some sort of thing, because she had a hole in her heart. And she began to eat a little bit of meat, but not too much. But that was replaced by fish and all that kind of thing. Now, the things that we eat, things that we take in and so on. I mean, you're giving us the summary there. Tell me more. Get a bit deeper now. Is there something you want to share that we should be now embracing or picking ourselves and eating and changing our diet or our weight, how we look, how we eat and so on?
I would say, okay, looking at me, for those of you on Facebook that can see me, I'm obviously quite small, petite.
You're petite, and I like that. Let me just say hello to Naranda and Deanne Harvey as well. Good evening as well. Greetings. Go ahead.
Indeed. So when I was younger, I've been anything from sort of 12, 13 stones, which for my height is they would consider me to be mildly obese, is what it is on their little chart. I go from green to orange.
Really?
But therefore they talk about, like they say, that BMI, body mass index, how much fat can they measure on top of your muscle? Basically, that's what they're trying to measure. Now, their charts and who we are don't work. As far as I'm concerned.
I'm glad you said that.
Yeah.
Elaborate.
So I had to then go away and actually discover what was my healthy body weight. What was the healthy fat to have?
So you don't mind if I just get into my McDonald's there, right? A big burger and all that right now? You don't mind?
Real food.
Eat real food.
First.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That's all I can say.
I got water, natural water. That's cool. Go ahead.
Yeah, so that's what it was. I became quite ill, and I didn't know I was ill, but my body was talking to me, and it was showing me different things in many different ways. So we could talk about a lack of iron. We talk about, deficiency, anemia. You look at the colour of your eyes, dark circle, pains in the joints.
But people back home in the Caribbean, people back home in the continent, they don't worry about these things, are they? What's the main difference there?
Because the sun.
Natural.
Yeah.
Natural.
Yeah,
okay.
It is. It really is. We sweat differently. We absorb the sun differently, and especially from the sun in the UK, which is
when
where
you say sweat, you looked at me properly. Do you think I should put air conditioning on?
No, sweat is a good thing.
Okay, good. I love that. Thank you. So I'll turn it off then.
Yeah.
Luton Urban Radio. Very good evening. I want to say good evening going out to Jeffrey. Go ahead, my dear. Go ahead.
Yeah. So there are levels of sweat that are good, but however, if your sweat is salty, that's when you need to then have a look at where the issue may lay. So my thing is that I went for a bio reading. So blood tests, blood pressure, all of that stuff, that's what the GP can do. And if everyone knows what GP stands for, general practitioner. Not practicing on me no more.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Because you've done your homework clearly and you decided this is it.
Yeah. It's an experiment. It's never a cure. It's let's try this, isn't it? And let's see what this does. And if this doesn't work, we'll change it to that.
Maybe that's why they're struggling with this coronavirus thing, to see if they can find a cure. Because they want to try on other people out of the world and see if it works. And that's an experiment, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, there are levels in regards to people's immune system that we need to look at. There were a number of people, unfortunately, who were going to pass away. Regardless of whether it was going to be called corona or not. So I still worry about the people who have got cancer, diabetes, who have had strokes, who have got severe arthritis. Those are the people that we can actually still help because those are ailments that can actually be cured and eased.
Talking about the elements, is that somehow in something that you're beginning to do now, or practicing holistical, what do you call it?
Well, I created a Facebook group.
Okay, tell us about it.
It's called Holistic Renaissance.
You pick these words, I can't even spell that. Renaissance. Okay. Why did you think there was a need to create that?
Because I know what my journey has been for the last 2 years, and I didn't just heal my mind. I healed my heart. I healed my body. I'm still in the process of healing. And once I realised that I was just not a single person, if that makes sense, I was a whole person. And I needed to have a look at all the different elements of self and then work on with them, not against them or for them, but work with them.
What is the danger in creating something like that? Would you get people that would buy into that and believe, or you must have done, you've done a lot of research and making sure whatever you're going to put out there is valid?
I always say to people that I am not a guinea pig, is that I try what is what is factual to be what's been tried and tested by many generations before me in regards to food practices, in regards to what sort of exercise that we may need to do to keep supple, Pilates, yogas. Breathing is the biggest thing that we don't do correctly.
Really?
Yes.
Explain.
Singers will probably understand this, or people in music industry. We're supposed to breathe from below our diaphragm. In other words, you're meant to inhale using the lungs and exhale pushing the air out of your body.
You know what? I struggled many a times in the church choir, and then my mum said, "Get them fisherman's friend. They'll help you sing properly."
And clear you out.
It clear you out. So
Yeah.
what you say? So breathing from that's I've got to try that now.
Yeah, so you know that your sort of solar plexus, your lunge is just above your rib cage, but you literally want to feel that part of your body moving. We breathe with our chest, and that's not actually quite right. You want to breathe with your stomach.
And that's how you work breathing right now.
Yeah.
Because I can hear your voice so clear. I've got an issue. I'm going to start practicing that right now. And okay, we're going to talk about it as we go along. Somebody right now who want to find out, follow your Facebook about this creation. Give your app for our audience right now.
Okay, so holistic is spelled with a W, and renaissance, which basically means holistic, which is the whole. And we're looking at, like I said, mind, body and soul, as well as the financial side of life as well, because I think that that's what we need to also look into. And the renaissance, which basically means anew, to start again, refresh, a rebirth. If anyone knows about astrology, we're in that time where for the last few months we were told not to plan or not to do very much. That's what we were being told to do. But if you were smart and you knew what the universe and the ancestors were telling you, you'd be planning and not doing at that moment. Now is the time
Luton
to do.
Urban Radio, The Pulse.
You know, I've got to tell you right now, you're going to be on this show. You are doing a show right now, my love. We have signed and delivered, because everything you're bringing here, I felt that there is more in you, and I'm so glad you're sharing it with our listeners. Run that again for somebody who's at home listening now. How can they follow you, especially on your Facebook now? Because we've got until 10 o'clock.
Right,
but somebody's listening right now. Go ahead.
My if you type in Natural Mystic, it does come up with my AKA. So my real name or government name is Leisha, and I'll spell it Lescha. So that's Lescha Marshall Witter. My face will pop up. Cute with a dimple is what I say. You'll definitely know it's me.
Love that dimple. I love that dimple. Love that dimple.
You'll know it's me. I'm usually the first person to pop up because my profile is searched quite so often. You can Google me as well. So if you type in Lescha Marshall Witter, Lescha, or Natural Mystic, and I spell it slightly different from Bob Marley, which is, yes, where I got it from, but due to copyright. So Natural is Natrel. So it's spelled phonetically, natural. And then Mystic is spelled the normal way, Mystic. So I'm also on Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn.
Wonderful.
You can find me. And if that's too hard, just look for Yard Foods.
There you go.
Which is my food business.
And if it ain't much, just look lurlive.co.uk.
That's right.
Great things are happening. Great things are coming upon with this wonderful young lady we'll be sharing with you very, very soon.
Luton Urban Radio, lurlive.co.uk. Luton Urban Radio, The Pulse. Urban Radio, The Pulse.
So I saw you dancing on the Facebook earlier on. Come on. Don't want to see you dancing, man. Come on. Wine and dance, come on.
And I be getting so jealous when I see you with someone else.
Come on.
Your body, you got me so hypnotized. So tell me, can I come spend the night?
Luton Urban Radio, The Pulse.
I just don't want to be friends and family now. If we cannot do the thing, I call again. I just don't want to be friends and family now. If we not going to do the thing, if we cannot do the thing, if we not going to do the thing, if we not going to do the thing, if we cannot go, what I think. I think for you I'm falling. You all in, I'm all in. No wasting time, no stalling. If I do give you the thing, I hope it could keep secret and thing. Everything wet like rain falling. Real love, y'all never barring. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
If you know about that life, baby, please don't waste my time. And if not, then girl, maybe you need to stay inside. Come follow, want me come for. Don't know why you are run for. Don't act like you don't love that. Yeah, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, this is a journey into sound. That is.
Luton Urban Radio, The Pulse.
Don't afraid to tell them you can't behave inside you like that. We go on them. You can't behave inside you like that. Somebody tell them you can't behave inside you like that. Then we want them. You can't behave like that. Teardrop people, don't spoil the minds, don't spoil the minds. Teardrop people, don't kill the minds, don't kill the minds. What's wrong with you there? Like a drunk hour, you're wicked hour, your face on the floor, what you looking for more? Where you learn to dream, where you really think your behavior to stick. Just put down the bottle, time to stop. Don't play up, don't play up. You keep on leaning like you go drop. Teardrop people, don't spoil the minds, don't spoil the minds. Teardrop people, don't kill the minds, don't kill the minds. And don't play mad for me, don't play mad for me, don't play mad for me. Just go. Don't play mad for me, don't play mad for me, don't play mad for me. Just go. So don't afraid to tell them you can't behave inside you like that. We go on them, you can't behave.
Definitely, of course, that we're going to be featuring lots of music going up through right at Bank Holiday weekend right here. Lenny T in the studio together with the great lady Natrel Mystic. You know what? Love it, love it, love it, love it. We're going to play more music. But before we do that, you know, so much things to talk about. So much things happen over the weekend. So much things happen during the week. We're looking at the Martin Luther King I Have a Dream speech. And also we're looking at an incredible young man. An incredible young man who brought us something unique in the Marvel sort of film. And they did say it was one of the most lucrative film ever made. Billions, I think he made billions or something. 1.2 billion, whatever. He had a black cast. And I'm trying to think, I think there was one or two white faces there.
Yeah.
But again, we go wrong when we start using black cast. I mean, these are natural things. I mean, it's been ages since we had something of that magnitude apart from Roots. Or I'm sure we've had other films.
Yeah, but not like you said, not to this magnitude.
This was very significant. The young man, of course, Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah.
43 years age. 43 years. It made me think of life. A few years ago, so 2017, I was diagnosed with prostate cancer, and I kind of like went through that. Again, Dee Bailey, great lady, brought a guy in our show we was doing together, Stephen, and they pushed me, Lenny, get yourself checked out. And I'm okay, I don't need to, I'm fine. Then I got myself checked out, and it turned out to be, yes, you got to get it done. Got it done. Successful operation, everything was great. Back to health, should I say, working my way back to reality. But this young man suffered for 4 years. They call it colonal cancer he suffered from. But in the films that he did, he brought something that was magical. He brought a Sidney Poitier, he brought a Denzel, a Wesley Snipes. He brought something, but he was different from these other cats. He was completely, in the films he made, I remember watching the Jackie Robinson movie. I thought, whoa, okay, great stuff. And I remember him watching Thurgood Marshall. I would love to see an actor embracing what the old Denzel is doing as well. I say, oh, good Denzel Washington. And then this film came out, Black Panther. Because we used to have magazines. We used to read our magazines. Marvel magazines. The Black Panther was it was there, but you had Hulk, you had Batman, you had Superman, you had all the other heroes. Black Panther was there, but he was in black. I remember at school drawing a little Black Panther, but not much. Didn't take it much, but we got caught up with Mr. Mr. America, Captain America.
That's right, yeah.
And we, as young kids, black kids, we really, that's cool. The Incredible Hulk. Mm-hmm. I don't recall us pumping too much about the Black Panther until we saw this brother do it, man.
Because we would never really believe we could be superheroes. I think that was our biggest hurdle in life, is that we had our heroes in general, and because they weren't celebrated day to day in school, for example, I think we found it difficult to actually resonate and connect with certain comics or programs that were pushed out there. And it wasn't until we started doing for self in regards to, for example, the Real McCoy, which came along a lot later in life, we realised that we're full of talent, we're full of heroes. There are many of us, and I think it's series like that in the UK especially that encouraged us as black boys and girls.
Yeah.
It wasn't about the other sort of comics that were out there. I remember Beano and all the...
Yeah. Batman and Robin were playing around, running about Batman and Robin, and then, of course, when you think about it, which one of them is me?
Yeah. And
which one of me?
But if you think about it, it's our parents as well. Because our parents would buy what they would relate to.
Sure.
So because they didn't relate to superheroes and that type of character, they wouldn't necessarily have picked up those types of books off the shelf, unless your parents was into Star Trek and Star Wars and certain programs.
My parents watched Dallas. They watched the Crossroads. I remember Crossroads and the mechanic. He was black.
Benny.
And Benny was there as well. And I thought, Max, he's black, he's mechanic. And that was the norm.
It was kind of a spot.
Yeah, you grew up either becoming a mechanic, a bus driver, a train driver, do you know what I mean?
So if he was a woman, you was a nurse. Or a secretary to a certain extent,
But this Chadwick boy, he brought this thing, and I looked at it, and I took my family, my girls there. I've got girls in there, and they big girls, they watched it.
Yeah.
They embraced it.
Yeah.
And the beauty with it is... My parents, they came from what was Rhodesia, Zimbabwe. Mm-hmm. It's a Southern African country.
That's right.
So the language they were speaking was my language, my Zulu language, the click. So I'm saying to my daughter, do you understand what they're saying? So yeah, they're doing it. Say, cool. So I'm sitting there, I'm feeling powerful, you understand? I'm thinking, they're speaking with a click, my cool language there. I'm bussing, I'm feeling great.
Yeah.
But I looked at the audience, I looked at how he was embraced worldwide. Do you remember the video that came out with those kids at the American school? Got on the table and they were dancing, and I looked at that black boy and I'm thinking, he's so joyful, he's so happy because he's going to see a screen character that embraces him.
Of course. I just sat with my mouth kind of literally from the opening scene. I just absorbed. I didn't watch, I absorbed, and it was just, this is possible.
Yes.
That's what I got from the ethos of what Chadwick Boseman actually presented to us. Is that we are possible.
Indeed.
Yeah.
So good evening going out to Cynthia. Good evening goes out to Benjamin. Good evening to each and everyone logged in. We've got about 50 seconds before the ad break, and we're going to come back just after that. We'll talk to Martin Luther King, but we'll continue to talk about the Black Panther. The question we're asking is, how significant was it when you saw that character? Black Panther. Did you take your family? Did you see it? And now how sad it is that Black Panther 2 is going to come out apparently 21-22, and he won't be there anymore.
I think this is where we have an opportunity to utilise one of our up-and-comings. Mm-hmm. We've got a few.
Yes.
And this is where I believe that Chadwick did what he did for a reason.
Yes. Yes.
I think he's paved a way. He's opened a door. He said, it's our time.
Love that. Don't go anywhere. Keep it locked right. We'll be back with these few words. You're logged on to Luton Urban Radio. Very good evening to you.
Hello. We are Attentive Social Enterprise. We were established to deliver training, support and advice to a range of organisations such as businesses, schools and community centres, focusing primarily in the Luton and Bedfordshire area.
Our most fundamental goal is to promote and champion diversity, to encourage people from a range of backgrounds to come together and celebrate our differences, to build cohesion and harmony. We achieve this by running active learning workshops and community projects. These include Culture Storm and Run Luton, which all focus on showcasing different cultures, as well as Reflect and Rethink, which tackles unconscious bias.
Our goal is to ensure everyone can make a positive contribution to their communities, as well as expanding their minds and introducing them to new ways and tackling challenges. You can find us on our website www.attentive.com, on Facebook under Attentive Social Enterprise, and on Instagram at Attentive. Attentive is spelled ATT10TIVE.
Are you 11 years of age or older, or are you a parent with children on a Sunday morning? But most importantly, is your household alive by 10 o'clock in the morning? If the answer is yes, then why not join us this coming Sunday and every Sunday for Yes, fun and exciting for the whole family. But parents, if you don't want to stay around, you can leave your child in front of the TV for Yes. And we can assure you they will be inspired, encouraged, and definitely empowered. So join us this coming Sunday and every Sunday at 10:45 a.m. for Yes. Via YouTube, channel Faith Tabernacle TV. Bible trivia, memorizing scripture, but most importantly, the Word of God, ministered at a level they can definitely understand. For Yes, an interactive service for the whole family. Just log on to YouTube.
Hey, this is Wayne Marshall, and you're listening to Luton Urban Radio.
This is Sharifa Maria, and I'll be presenting the Now and Then show, playing classic 90s R&B and some of my favourite bangers. I'll also be giving reviews and interviews. Alternative Saturdays, 12 till 2 p.m. Listen to us on the TuneIn app, search Luton Urban Radio, or listen on lurlive.com. Check us out on Facebook and find me on Insta at Sharifa Maria.
LUR sounds like
what you won't do for love.
This.
When I'm looking at you, I keep thinking.
And this.
Ooh, I get so high when I'm around you, baby.
Your number one community station, playing the best mix of soul and R&B.
Well, I got to say,
Luton Urban Radio.
We're back. Management don't like that.
We're back.
P45 ladies shortly. Hey, back of course. We've got about 25 seconds to go. 25 minutes to go, in fact. My special guest tonight, okay, Natural Mystic. You know, I do like how you came about with that word, because you are natural and there's something mystical about you, really. I think what I've learned today, the fact that you've embraced the idea of the knowledge, read. Let's equip ourselves with that self-knowledge. Things that some are doing, but we don't prominently bring it to the forum all the time.
We're scared to apply it.
My dad's house, my parents' house back in the days, used to have library books. Mm-hmm. My dad is an accountant, my mum is a nurse. So they were learned people. They came in with a sense of purpose. Yeah. And I find that you've grown. You've got my family, you've got my daughters. I don't even have a library book in my house. I put it in the loft somewhere. Do you know what I mean?
Tucked away in the loft, yeah.
And I'm surrounded with women who I'm thinking, we should have lots of books here. So I am beginning now to retrieve things from where and start putting them prominently and read. Yeah. Educate ourselves. Things which we did before. I felt there was a generation early where I was empowered. I used to go to these, my dad used to go to these Pan-African meetings in London, read, talk, wear particular kind of clothing, and Christianity came in, which some people would say has completely decimated, destroyed our community. Because we've given up so many things. Because and if we're seen to be talking a bit more prominent, we're like, oh my gosh, here they go again, anti this, anti that. But we need that growing, that empowerment, don't we?
I mean, I went to Seventh-day Adventist Church for a little while as well. Yeah. And the reason why my mum and dad really did send me there when I was younger was because they wanted me to be around like-minded people. Yes. In regards to a spiritual godly way, for want of the safety of those people, if that made sense. Indeed. What the church could be doing, it could be phenomenal. I'll be honest with you, in regard to the congregation, the space itself, what they provide, the education, the nurturing.
Yeah.
You know, Sunday schools, Saturday schools, all of these things that we used to have.
True.
It just doesn't have to be surrounded around a Bible or that book. There are other books. And I think that was the beauty of Saturday and Sunday school, was the fact that they allowed me to explore books in general.
Asking you at home, families, how much are you doing? Are you allowing your children to explore books? We've had obviously COVID from March up to now. Some haven't gone back to work. Others haven't gone back. The kids haven't gone back to school. Our youngest hasn't gone back to uni. We dragged her out. She said, Dad, I'm all right. I said, no, you got to come home. March up to now, I could see she's working little part-time, little number just to get her brains, but she's still reading, getting herself. So we're saying it's about time that we feed our kids with a bit of education and that self-esteem. I'm
a PA for a publishing company, Peaches Publications. I will give her a shout out. Her name is Winsome Duncan. She's been to many events in Luton.
Beautiful.
Yeah. We're in the process of actually getting children together from the ages of 8 to sort of 12. Children of colour, don't really like to use the term BAME, as in black and Asian.
Tell me why.
Because we're not a minority.
We need to know that. We need to understand that, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. We can say we're black and Asian, but we are not an ethnic minority. We're not a minority on the globe. We might be a minority in the UK, but collectively, we're not a minority.
Let me just say this again.
Luton Urban Radio, The Pulse.
They haven't used the words education. Well, this is why we want you here. That clarity and the idea of specifying and teaching. Some of us who probably take that for granted. BME, yeah, that's all right. I'm all right. I can be addressed as such. But it's deeper than that. It is deeper than that.
It really
and it's
is.
nice to know and to understand.
Yeah, but we're encouraging 30 children to actually co-write storybooks. So far we've got, I think, 19. We've got a few more spaces left. And we are encouraging black and Asian children to come and join the Look Like Me book challenge.
Right.
Which you can find on Facebook, Instagram, all those sorts of places. Again, Google. And please register your child for free and let them contribute their thoughts, their ideas, their creativity.
How did people register and where?
Literally go online. It's the Look Like Me book challenge. Failing that, you can have a look at Peaches Publications.
Okay.
Again, she has a website, .co.uk. And yeah, have a look for Look Like Me. We are trying to raise funds. We do have a GoFundMe page as well. And so far we have raised £1,000.
Congratulations, well done.
Yeah, so we've managed to get the book to the first initial stages of publication. So we're designing pictures and words. So yeah, get your children involved.
And of course, the idea of you being here today, I'm going to say to everybody right now, you'll be hearing more of this great lady in shows to come. We have a very special show that she'll be presenting right here, and I'm glad you're part of us. And I'm glad also for all those others working in different communities, different shows, different medias. It's all about embracing and working together and delivering a message to our community. I'm getting back to this young man because I think his story resonates to many of us. Many of us, when we have this kind of illness, we find out we don't want to talk about these in public. We keep it away and keep it to ourselves. Someone to share.
Yeah,
I experienced that 2017. I felt, that's my personal sort of life. I don't want to talk too much about it. However, there is a need to share.
Definitely.
Because there's somebody out there who may also want to understand or to know and how to overcome. As I say, D. Bailey brought a guy in our show. He talked about it and he said, Lenny, now I've done for martial arts, I've played football, I've kept fit, I've done all that stuff. And I thought there was nothing wrong with me. There was no symptoms, there was nothing whatsoever.
Yeah.
And the doctor said, you have this. You must get it done.
Yeah.
It was the reaction afterwards. I looked at my girls, my family. They said, Dad, what's going on? They knew I don't like hospitals, doctors, because none of the injuries I've had and going out there. I just want to go home. I don't want to be there. But I had to get it done. Having got it done, I found it was great sharing with people. Prostate cancer, taboo talking subject within our community. Right? But if you speak to the elders, you find out, how did uncle die? How did somebody, water problem? You understand? Well, you didn't want to talk about it, taboo. But now we're commonly talking about it because 1 in 4 men are black, African, Caribbean men are diagnosed with prostate cancer. In the other communities, 1 in 8. What saddened me about Friday when I heard this early hours in the morning, I said, What? 43? He's gone. Why?
Yeah.
I've seen him acting. He looked well. He looked okay. He's done numerous movies.
Yeah.
You know, 21 Bridges, another powerful movie which I'm following right now. Avengers Endgame, the big film Black Panther, of course. He done Captain America Civil War. He was, of course, in one the draft day. But more importantly, there's one there called the Five Things, I think it is. I'm just ringing at the top of my head. It's a movie he's done by Thurgood Marshall. He did that. Jackie Robinson. And they said whilst he was acting, this young man, he was still fighting this thing, and he died peacefully in his home. I was gut-wrenched. I was so taken back. So young.
Yeah.
From somebody on a holistical experience, you're going to be guiding us with certain programs. When you hear something of that, how do you embrace, how do you sort of give comfort to those who are perhaps suffering or who want a bit of help, who need a bit of understanding with health issues, and they don't know how to go about it?
Number one, for me, listen to the body. Your body does speak to you. So whether it be you feel nauseous, you get headaches, blurred vision, you're going to the loo too often, you're not going to the toilet enough, the body gives you signals, and it's just being able to recognise what those different signals are. I myself had an invisible illness, is what I would call it. I was diagnosed, or they found, is the word I used, a benign brain tumour in 2011.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Again, prior to that, I had 10 years of illness. Yeah. There were things that my body was doing to tell me that something ain't quite working quite right. Unfortunately, didn't ever go to the doctors to even comment on what was going on. And it was only when I went for a routine smear test with a nurse, she said to me, is there anything unusual that you'd like to tell us? Or anything odd? It's like she just picked up on it. Like she just sensed there's something wasn't quite right. And at that point, I just said to her, this is happening. And she kind of went, that's not normal. And she literally picked up the bat phone. I've never seen anyone pick up a red phone in a doctor's surgery before.
In my case, Batman Robin used to do that really to the bat phone, red phone, didn't he?
She literally ran to the bat phone, and the ambulance pulled up outside, and they took me straight to the hospital. It was like, do not pass go, do not go home, do not, and straight into an MRI scan, where they discovered that the way I look at it is that my voice had been stifled, and there was a lot of things in my head that I'd kept to myself.
Sure.
And so therefore my brain had accumulated all of these thoughts and all of these feelings.
Wow.
And this is part of my healing, speaking, letting people know that do not stifle yourself, listen to your body, because this, I know, is what's going to get rid of what it is that's
amazing. There. How did you feel when you went through that, and to come away from there to where you are now?
Okay,
there was a lot of changes.
The biggest question, I didn't care about the tumour. I wanted to know how I got it. That was my only question to the doctors, because if you tell me how I got it, then I know how to get rid of it, and then I know how it will never come back again. They couldn't answer that question. They still cannot answer that question. So why am I going back to somebody who cannot give me the answer? Therefore, the answer must lie within.
What did you do?
Change my diet.
Okay.
Change my environment in regards to work. Change where I lived, even.
Environment, yeah.
Literally, every part of myself I had to find a way to change. So rather than working in care for 80 hours, I had to cut back. The financial chase was not as important as my health. So
that's
now
a lot
health
to give up. That's a lot to give up, isn't it? Because some may listen to that and think, wow, I don't think I can. And that's that laziness we get in ourselves, because we think, things will be all right. But as you say, look within, do something about it, act.
Yeah, or ask somebody, have at least one confidant, is what I say, in your world. Sometimes a stranger can give you the answer that you're looking for, so sometimes listen to the message, but don't always listen to the teacher or look at the teacher, because we never know where the answer's going to come from.
That's right. Let's just say a very good evening going out to Susie and Ralph. A very good evening to you. Don Carlos, a very good evening to you. You're watching. Thank you very much indeed. And somebody called, is it Rampant? Really great evening to you. Thank you so much.
This is my holistic Renaissance history. Indeed, yes.
Oh, tell us more.
Rampant does tarot and so much more.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that still effective in today's world life? And if so, how significant?
For me, it's a step back. It's a pause. That's what it is. I feel that my ancestors speak through certain people, and it doesn't mean that I will know who or where those people are. And I believe that Rempet has a way of tapping into the messages of my ancestors.
Sure.
and her own.
Right.
And delivering a message which is always nurturing. The message that comes isn't meant to scare you, it's meant to prepare you.
Right. Let me say big shout goes out to my big boy up there. Yo, what's happening, big man? Nice to know you're logged in. Thank you for watching.